ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Okay. So we are starting this Canto 1, Chapter 5. We're reading about Narada and Vyasadeva's meeting in connection with Srimad Bhagavatam being composed. And in this connection, we'll read about Sri Narada's previous life, how he achieved perfection and became Narada. And this has a lot of practical um, lessons for all of us who are also trying to tread this path of bhakti. So what I'm going to do is, like I discussed, we're going to go through the purports here, and also I'm possibly going to, where appropriate, read from Sharartha Darshini by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, because this, like all these sections, it's always nice to also understand what our previous acharyas are saying. Because many there are different things being highlighted by different acharyas. Um, but of course, I mean, only for some very important verses I will be referring to the commentary. Okay, otherwise mostly we'll be reading through Srila Prabhupada's purports. Okay. Tutuvacha atha tam sukham asina upasinam बृहत् शवाः देवर्षि प्राह विप्रर्षिं विना पाणि वीणा पाणि स्मयन् इव. Sutta Goswami said, thus the sage amongst the gods, Narada, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi amongst the Brahmanas, Vedavyasa. So we just read in the last session on Sunday, how Vedavyas was contemplating about his defect, that even though he was completely equipped with all the knowledge of the Vedas, he was dissatisfied. He was dissatisfied, and then he realizes that it is because of not specifically pointing out devotional service of the Lord. That was the reason why he was feeling dissatisfied. And Narada, as his guru, very he is trying to help him understand. He says, you given the Vedanta Sutra, where you given so much of emphasis on Brahman, um, and why are you relating, or why are you um, identifying yourself with the body and the mind? Because that's for people who are not born, not you have such a high birth. You're son of Parashara Muni and Satyavati. So, so a little bit of that conversation has happened. Or actually, I'm mixing up. Maybe I'm doing Kannada class also. Okay. So Narada was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vedavyasa and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the signs of devotional service. Narada knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyasa. Narada Uvacha Parasharya Mahabhaga Bhavata Kachid Atmana Paritushyati Sharira. Yeah, it is here. Atma Manasa Hey Baba, addressing Vyasadeva, son of Parashara, Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as the objects of self-realization? So this was a hint by Narada to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. What is the cause of his? This is a hint. Hmm. Vyasadeva is the descendant of Parashara, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage, which should not have given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. So if you're talking about great parentage is not material. Great parentage means that somebody understands Atma Jnana. They understand that I'm not this body, I'm spiritual, I'm not the mind, I'm not the body. Why Narada Muni is saying this? Because most of us are actually, before we come to the path of Krishna consciousness, most people think of themselves as either the body or the mind. And so this is for people with ignorance, right? Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self with the body or the mind. Ordinary men with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body as self or the mind as self. But Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind. So, this is the whole problem, right, with the modern material world, that everybody is just identifying themselves either with the body or with the mind. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, and this is the cause for people being not cheerful or unhappy, is because they are not factually, they've not understood this. They're not understood this. Even as devotees, we come to the path of bhakti, but we still identify, at least at times, we identify ourselves with the body or the mind. Actually, this identifying with the mind is a very important thing. It's okay. We can understand that we are not the body, but yeah, we are attached to the body. So sometimes, we tend to fall down to the material platform and become too attached to the body. This is understandable. And the solution for that is to just be more and more conscious that I'm not the body. And yeah, by doing regular devotional activities, we should be able to quickly at least realize that, okay, I'm not this body. This body is temporary. It's going to get destroyed. Now, the challenge with the I am not the mind is that is very important. Mm, Actually, though we can understand that the mind is inferior to Atma, we still seem to be very much driven by the ways of the mind. We are not wanting to exercise the power of the Atma in terms of being able to control the mind. Actually, it is very powerful. Just the assertion, we have to just assert to ourselves, saying that, hey, I am the Atma. Atma is supposed to be superior to the mind. So let me rule the mind. Let me not be ruled by the mind. Actually, you can just try this today, experiment for all of us. Whenever today, if your mind is misbehaving for whatever reason, normally, willingly, we go with the mind. So, example, mind is upset because mind is upset, not Atma is not upset. Mind is upset. We go with the mind. Meaning, as Atma, we don't chastise the mind saying that, why are you acting on the material platform and disturbing me? We go with the mind. Okay, I'm upset with somebody. As Atma, I'm also going with the mind and saying, okay, I'm also upset with that somebody. Now, can we break this chain? We have to break this. So mind is misbehaving. As Atma, we have to just stand up and say, don't do this nonsense. This is not good for spiritual progress. And overrule the mind. So, which means that you are getting upset at somebody. Just now stop being upset. At least, like parts of that interaction might come under control. Meaning, if you are 100% upset, maybe by trying to do this, maybe we will be only 90% upset or 95% upset or 80% upset. Meaning, some consciousness has to come into our mind saying that, hey, into our thinking saying that, hey, I'm not the mind. Mind is doing something which is not good for me because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Trinadapi Suninchena Tarora Visarishna. And I want to do that. The problem is, as Atma, if I don't want to come to that platform of Trinadapi, then I let the mind rule. So even as devotees, we have to understand that I am above the mind. As Atma, I am above the mind. I have to control the mind. I have the power to control the mind. I have the authority to control the mind. Because in the structure of this body, mind is lower to Atma. Hmm. So it's a very important thing that we should not identify ourselves with the mind, because when we identify ourselves with the mind, we will go with the mind. We will not try to overrule the mind when it is not doing the right thing. Mind, uncontrolled mind is our greatest enemy, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? So we have to understand that we should rule the mind, not be ruled by the mind. And Prabhupada is saying one cannot be cheerful unless one is factually seated. This is the thing about being factually seated in self-realization, meaning all the time being aware that I am the self, I am not this body, I am not the mind. If you are actually factually seated in that situation, then we can be cheerful. Then we can be cheerful. We can be happy. Right? So it's a constant endeavor. It's a constant endeavor to realize or think or even be aware. Be aware of the fact that, hey, I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. I'm the powerful soul, part and parcel of the super soul. Hmm? So this is very, very important. Okay. So this is practical application to be situated in the position of superiority to the mind. Okay. Any questions? Okay. I'm going for chat. There's a book written by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Okay. Yeah. Can read. जिज्ञासितं सुसम्पन्नम् अपि ते महद् अद्भुतं कृतवान् भारतं यस्त्वं सर्वार्थ परिबृंहितम्. Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled, and there's no doubt that you prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. The despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. He didn't have any lack of knowledge. So we should understand that even those with full knowledge can be unsatisfied. So they may not experience the happiness required. So knowledge is not the criteria. And he was so knowledgeable that he compiled Mahabharata. And this Mahabharata, it's said, Prabhupada is saying, compiled with full explanation of the Vedas. Meaning it is written in such an intelligent way that will appeal to common people, right? So I keep thinking about this, right? When we talk from Bhagavad Gita, people are bored, right? So Vyasdev knew this, so he gave Mahabharata. And in the Mahabharata, first of all, Mahabharata itself is compiled with full explanation of Vedas, meaning it just looks like a normal, some historical, incident or some history. But actually, the way it is compiled um, is very much to teach so many important lessons for mankind, and it is has full explanation of the Vedas. Prabhupada is saying, right? And of course, because Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata, then it is summary or essence of all Veda. Uh, so he had no lack of sufficient knowledge. He had sufficient knowledge. Still, he was unhappy. जिज्ञासितम् अधीतं च ब्रह्म यत् तत् सनातनं तथा अपि शोचसि आत्मानम् अकृता artha. I'm trying to just break the words so that we can understand the individual words here. Akrita artha iva prabho. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? Now you have given Mahabharata. Not only that, you have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman. Where? In the Vedanta Sutra. The Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra compiled by Srila Vyasadeva is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature. And it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. So he was such a jnani that he gave Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, which is considered as the most exalted philosophical exposition. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly. Yeah, Athato Brahma Jignasa, scholarly. Who can understand? So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva. So why should he lament? So many three verses just to support the fact that Vyasadeva was so learned, so fully knowledgeable, still he was lamenting. व्यासुवाच अस्ति एव मे सर्वम् इदं त्वया उक्तं तथा अपि न आत्मा परितुष्यते मे तत् मूलम् अव्यक्तम् अगाध बोधं पृच्छामहे त्वा आत्मा भव आत्मभूतम्. Sri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. For you are a man of unlimited knowledge, due to your being the offspring of one Brahma, who is self-born without mundane father and mother. The beautiful thing here is Vyasadeva, he himself is so accomplished, but still he understands that his guru is more superior to him. He's not saying, I know. We go and stand in front of the guru and we talk like we know more than the guru. Um, Actually, in front of the guru, we should not speak at all. If asked, we should speak. Otherwise, we should keep quiet. And even when asked, we should not start with, yes, I think. We should give up this whole mood of general ego we have. Whenever we are conversing with anybody, we say, I think, ego, ego, ego. So when we are in front of Guru, we should at least at that time, for that limited time that we'll be present in front of our Guru for some valid reason, not that we just go or stand in front of the Guru and keep smiling at him and waste his time. If we have something useful, or if we have been called for some conversation, even in the conversation, we should be conscious about the fact that we are in front of representative of Krishna, who has to be respected as much as Krishna. So what that means is, if in front of Guru we are talking like I know everything, then we'll do the same thing in front of Krishna also. Right? So which means that we are absolutely not qualified to go anywhere near the spiritual world. So here Vyasadeva is teaching us, saying that even though he was so qualified, he didn't say, Narada or Guru or Guru Maharaj, I know my problem. I know what my problem. Can you just, like we want to speak like we know things, right? Like Vyasadeva is not doing that. He's saying, yes, yes, yes. What you said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I'm not pacified. So I question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. Why? Because you are a man of unlimited knowledge. So this is humility. Actually, this is a Vaishnava etiquette. And that is why, I always feel awkward answering in front of, Anukul Prabhu, Mataji, because, we have to follow Vaishnava etiquette. I am just taking their orders and just following it right now, not with an intention to show my knowledge. Actually, we should never show our knowledge in front of devotees or superior to us. And this is a Vaishnava etiquette, the Vaishnava etiquette. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the mind or with the body or with the mind, and that is the root cause of all despondencies. This is not always detected, even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge. See, one may be the greatest erudite scholar, PhD, MBA, this, that, and all that. But they can't detect what is the root cause of their despondency. What is the root cause of their despondency? Identifying with the body or mind. That is the root cause of despondency. But this is not always detected. Some people, like, Abdul Kalam said, Narendra Modi ji said, yeah, there may be some people who are great scholars, right? And at the same time, they understand this. But mostly, generally, it is always goes undetected, and people can't figure out what is the reason, what can we do, how can we help. Uh, so it is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narada to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narada should be approached is explained below. So one is he's man of unlimited knowledge, but there are other qualifications also. तवै भवान् वेद समस्त गुह्यम् उपासितो यत् पुरुष पुराण परावरेशो मनसैव विश्वं सृजति avati atti gunair asangaha. My Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you, my Lord. Hmm? Because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. So because you worship him, you worship the original personality of Godhead, so everything that is mysterious is known to you. That is why it said, a pure devotee is perfect in all ways, right? Because he knows everything, because he worships the Supreme Lord. A person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee of the Lord in full perfection of devotional service is also perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. He's not perfect by his own qualification. He is also perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. Meaning, because personality of Godhead is fully qualified, the devotee is also fully qualified because he's not acting independently. He is absolutely acting as a part and parcel of Krishna, who is fully qualified. Right? And it is said that, okay, as such, the eightfold perfections of mystic power, Astasiddhi, constitute very little of his godly opulence. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur says that, for a pure devotee, all these Astasiddhis, liberation, they're all waiting at the door, saying that, please accept us. The devotee is not interested. Some people want to show magic, take this apple, some vibhuti, some this, some that, whatever. And then people will sing of them as, oh, you are God, you are Bhagwan. It's actually so crazy, this thing, that, worshipping human beings as Bhagwan, and that people have no intelligence at all. Just seeing little bit magic, they get carried away. It's okay, fine. I mean, he's a yogi, he's achieved something. Okay, you can respect him. That's fine. But don't think of him as God. He's an insignificant jiva. He's done some yoga because of which he's got some astasiddhis. That's all. And if, like, we know that many, that at least once clearly, when some devotees were going about, uh, you know, speculating that Prabhupada is God, right? Then Prabhupada just threw them away out of ISKCON. He said, like, you're going to spoil ISKCON. I am not God. I am just a servant of God. Yes, of course, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastri should be treated, respected as good as God. That is the disciples' beauty. But the Guru will not tolerate being called God. This is the characteristic quality of a pure devotee, of a real Guru. A devotee like Narada can act wonderfully by spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. By spiritual perfection, they can act wonderfully. And somebody asked Prabhupada, saying that, where are your siddhis? It is said that a pure devotee possesses all siddhis. He said, yeah, look at all these lechas. They've all, meat eaters, have become, devotees. That's my power. That's my siddhi. Mm. The Narada is a 100% perfect living being, although not equal to the personality of Godhead. So this is the position of Guru and all exalted souls, all exalted devotees. So they can all act wonderfully. Actually, Brahma also says in his prayers to Narada, he says that actually, because I am engaged in the service of Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord makes my words true, makes my words come true. So if a sincere devotee, pure devotee, desires something, and normally they will desire something for the welfare of the world, and when they desire something for the welfare of the world, the Lord manifests it. Lord makes it happen. Lord makes it happen. And this is very famous verse, Yenya Ravindaksha Vimukta Manina. That verse actually says that devotees, They follow, they give to people the path of bhakti to achieve perfection, and they follow that path, and the Lord accepts that path. Meaning, whatever is the path which these great devotees have given, Lord accepts, saying that yes, it is given by my devotee, so I will accept it as an authorized way to come to me. That is why when Srila Prabhupada has said, saying that 16 rounds is enough, follow four relatives principles, chant 16 rounds offenselessly, you will go back to Godhead. It is true. But the important part is there that we have to chant offenselessly, without offenses. If you chant with offenses, then it won't work. But if you chant without offenses, it will work. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada said. He said, I have backdoor entry to Goloka Vrindavan, which is true, which means that Krishna has given him backdoor entry. So we should not suspect, it might just look like, it looks like a casual statement. No. Anything that a pure devotee says is for the benefit of the whole world, and Krishna makes it happen. Krishna makes it happen, right? So that is their spiritual perfection. Tvam paryatan arka iva trilokim antascharo vayur ivatma sakshi paravare brahmani dharmato vrataihi snatasyatne nyunam alam vichakshva. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the three worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. And this is also very important. Actually, pure devotees can penetrate our hearts. They actually can understand what we are thinking. Many a times we have heard this, like once there's somebody who, Prabhupada was wearing a new watch. Apparently, it was in Hyderabad, I think. And somebody figured that, Prabhupada is wearing a new, I think it was a gold something watch, expensive watch, and he wanted to steal it, robber. So he came dressed like a devotee and or something like that, and he sat in the front row, and he's hearing to Prabhupada. The whole class is sitting, and all the devotees left for prasadam, and he's still sitting. Prabhupada looks at him and directly says, "You came for the watch, right?" So, and many times, many other devotees have also commented saying that when they were just simply sitting in front of Prabhupada or went to Prabhupada for something, Prabhupada already answered their question or, whatever addressed their concern without even asking. So, pure devotees, these great souls, they can penetrate our internal region. So, we cannot just try to bluff in front of them. I mean, I've experienced this with that. I mean, with my own Guru Maharaj, his own Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. Sometimes, when I've gone in front of him, something that I want to say, and I can see the way he's looking at me. Already he knows, and he's answering it. Right. So it's not that I'm not bragging in any way that it's my Guru Maharaj. All these great souls have this quality. They can penetrate. Um, Actually, once happened to me also with His Holiness Jaipatak Maharaj. I was some close by. I was just offering obeisances to him, and he looked into my eyes, and I felt like he actually en- directly entered my heart. Like he could see what was there, right? And I felt ashamed. And it's like that, you can feel that their eyes, like the naked truth is in front of them. All over kachada comes, they can easily see, and they can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you're as good as the all-pervasive super soul. See, as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. So somebody can do this actually. We can do this. We can go to our gurus and say, please find out the deficiency in me. I'm trying to be engaged in devotional service, but still I'm struggling. What is the deficiency in me? Like, sure they'll be able to identify and tell us without us telling anything. Absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. See, he was absorbed in transcendence not casually. He was following all the disciplinary regulations and vows. So it's very important. If we want to make progress, we have to follow whatever given rules and regulations by our acharyas. We have to follow that. And here Vyasadeva is saying, I am absorbed in transcendence. I'm absorbed in transcendence. I'm not like some casual devotee. I'm absorbed in transcendence. Under disciplinary regulations and vows, still I am unhappy. So please find out. What is the deficiency in me? What should I do? Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshipping the deities, charity, mercifulness, non-violence, studying the scriptures under strict regulations are always helpful. For what? For coming to bhakti. They are helpful. We discussed this, in Madhurya Kadamini. Bhakti is independent, but all these other things, transcendental realization just means Brahman, right? This is not bhakti. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, right? That is transcendental realization. I'm Brahma Bhuta. I am like not this body, I'm spirit soul. That realization is transcendental realization. Pious activities, punya karma, archa vigraha aradhana, dana, daya, ahimsa, swadhyay, all these are always helpful. They are favorable for, they might help somebody to come closer to bhakti, but they are not the direct causes of bhakti, but they can be favorable causes for bhakti. So it's good to be engaged in these things than other things which are not listed here, which are what mostly people in this material world are engaged in. Absolutely not transcendental realization. Pious activities here and there, but mostly sinful activities. Worshipping the deities is no way. So most people don't give charity. Most people are not merciful. Most people are violent for their own selfish desires, needs. They are violent towards other jivas. To study scriptures, no way. People just, I mean, I've been experiencing this. People can't sit for 15 minutes and hear, they'll start yawning. So I was thinking the other day, saying, it's in my preaching that I find that some section of, people are so much in lower modes that they cannot even hear anything valuable for themselves. They'll just keep yawning and yawning and yawning. I thought only, and this is all just because of contamination, right? Contamination of the lower modes. Only way we can get them to, even come to the platform of hearing spiritual topics is actually by prasadam and kirtanam, right? So this is something that I'm wanting to do now, heavily distribute prasadam and do harinam, because the people are very, very fallen. People are very fallen, and they are not even qualified to come to the stage of hearing anything, right? However important it may be, so very unfortunate, the state of the world. So if all of us don't go and help them out, they're just going to go down to hell. So we should try to help. We should try to help. We should go out and um, distribute prasadam, do harinam, get people together. 5 minutes, do harinam. Something we have to do. It's very important. Previously, during when Prabhupada's manifest presence, this is what was the activity during the day. Devotees used to go out, distribute books, do harinam. That's all. And people used to so happily engage and dance with them. Even today, actually, I know of some devotees. It's in Atlanta. It's called Krishna Life. Many of my gurus, disciples, so they are doing this. They are just doing this, going out Harinam, distributing books. Right, and it's amazing. It's so many books are distributed. So many books. That one of those devotees there is currently holding the like record for distributing maximum number of books in a day, right? Almost 5,000 books. And I was thinking whole of marathon, almost, whatever, 40, 50 of us, uh, we distributed, yeah, we distributed close to 9, 10,000, 7, yeah, 12,000 books. But that the devotee does it in one day, he does 6,000. So 2 days, if he does, he is done with our 30 days into 50 people effort, right? And that is the scale at which they are distributing books and also doing harinam. And we see so many people are just happy to sing along with them, dance on the streets. We should do this. We should do this. Is what actually was being done before. I don't know, for some reason we are very reluctant to engage in book distribution and harinam. So I want to do this as part of at least wherever preaching I'm doing. I want to revive this as much as possible, because that's what is going to change. It's a very simple thing, right? Like Harinam, give some prasadam, maybe, some dry prasadam one can carry. Give it mercy, mercy. And then, yeah, some book, that time bomb will explode someday, right? But we should do this more and more. So it will benefit the people. There is no other way. But otherwise, yeah, engaging in all these things are always helpful. Yeah, okay. So I'll stop here. It's already 6:97. So if anybody has any questions, comments, we can discuss. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, Sunday somebody asked me, what is the difference between a Rishi and a Muni? And I was unable to answer. Can you throw some light on it?
No, sage, the definitions are slightly different in the sense that Muni is, Prabhupada says, no, if one is called a Muni, if they have to just disagree with others. Meaning they are just people who are on the mental platform, right? Like they will have their own philosophy, thought, and they just stick to their own way. There isn't a like very strict difference, but rishis are generally considered people who are more ritualistic. They can be called rishis, but there isn't like a strict. I haven't seen a very strict definition. But general usage is Muni is somebody who's on the knowledge platform. Rishi may not be on a knowledge platform.
Rishi is not on a knowledge platform.
I mean,
he
can be he can be a yogi. No, yeah, he can be a yogi. Or he can be even ritualistic, right? Like doing some yagnas and all that. They can also be called rishis. But like I said, I've not seen a very technical definition as such. This is just my inference from where these words are being used, but I also see them being used interchangeably. So yeah, I don't know very clearly to separate them.
Because Naraji is also called a Muni.
Yeah.
And but they do not. They they usually do not do karmakandas. The rishis do karmakandas.
Yeah, rishis do. So munis are mostly on the knowledge platform and above. Mostly.
Above. But why do the munis want to become a rishi, Prabhu? See, because Vishwamitra Muni wanted to become a rishi.
That was Brahmarshi. No, that's what there are all. It is all like that's why I said, we have to get into a lot more understanding for this. But Brahmarshi is not like a normal rishi, right? As in, he can do all these rituals, but he gets the power as much as equivalent to Brahma, they say, right? So very powerful rishi. But it's still, I mean, it depends on what each individual's desires is, why they want to achieve something, etc. But generally, usage in Bhagavatam, at least, if you see in Bhagavatam, this is how the words have been used generally, right? But yeah, maybe there might be some other devotee who can give a better answer to this. I'm not a Muni. I'm neither Rishi.
As a Prabhu, one more question she asked me, which I was unable to answer.
Interesting.
She asked me, she said, we do Ekadashi. And then next day we are given a time period to where to break the fast. Otherwise, we do not get the fruits of Ekadashi. But then but what we are taught in ISKCON is that don't aim for the fruits, don't do this, just do your this thing. Yeah. But doesn't that become a Karam Kanda?
Okay, yeah, that I can answer. So see, basically we are doing that is why we don't read Ekadashi Mahatmya. I tell people don't read Ekadashi Mahatmya, because Ekadashi Mahatmya makes us karma kandik, right? In the sense, because it is talking about fruits. We have to simple reason why we have to do Ekadashi. It is dear to Krishna. It is his most dear day, and that's all. We want to please him. That's all, right? So when we are wanting the fruits, what is the fruit we want? That he be pleased. Yeah, and we go towards Krishna Prema. So that, see, desire for achieving Krishna is desirelessness.
Yes.
Right? Prabhupada says. So that's simple to understand.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, one bouncer, Rishi and Muni, let me see.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandat Prabhu.
As you said, generally that these are exalted souls, this is a very first stage. They know when you talk to them, they can know about.
Yeah.
I will tell you one passage with me also as
Mhm.
same. I was driving my
Yeah.
Gurumas to some program from my house.
Okay.
I clearly
Uh-huh.
remember it was program was in Jayanagar, and it
Uh-huh.
was evening, 8 o'clock. 7:30 we left actually home, and next near to this cantonment railway station. Suddenly one thought came in my mind. Guru Maharaj asked everybody, "How are you?" I said, "He has never asked me how I am," and I'm with him almost 24 hours. Almost when just next to him actually when he sleeps, they accept that time, and he never asked me, "What is that?" So I slightly became low. Okay, okay. He asked everybody, and I started feeling okay, after father, nobody knows me, how I am. Okay, we went, came back from program. After came back program, I generally, my schedule was there, as soon as 8:39 becomes. So my son used to take care, I used to go and sleep. And Guruma was knowing. So he said, my time is over. Suddenly he asked me, turn in, after in the house. You sleepy? I said, no, Guru, tell me. He said, I have a few rounds to chant. Can you stay? I said, okay, no problem. If you're asking, I'll stay. So then he said, I want to walk also. Then we together make some furniture together and make a round in a dining room. Okay, he can walk. So he was walking. I was also walking, chanting. Suddenly, after one or two rounds, he suddenly turned up. He said, how are you? I was stunned and started crying. I told the whole story. Then we were talking till 11:30, 12 night. Actually that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's why I said it's Shastra, whatever it says, it absolutely manifests and
Yeah.
great devotees. Hmm. For me, the experience is opposite. I wanted initially that, whenever I feel, I used to feel egoistic. Okay, I did this Ramayana project, I did this, I did that, and I know that I want my guru to ask about it, and he didn't do it for many years. And then I realized, saying that it was that he could look at me and he see that, yeah, he's expecting me to ask, and he was not asking because he wanted me to come down from that platform of ego. And that helped actually. I tell so many devotees that I'm so happy that I was never given any importance by my guru, in spite of taking up whatever projects for him. And because they know exactly, right, what is required for they know, and but they will not give. Right. So it's yeah, you can, yeah, anybody who's near these great souls, by any fortune,
Yeah.
they can experience what their position
Actually,
is.
yesterday I was hearing Prabhupada one past time regarding this only.
Hmm.
Hridayanand Goswami Maharaj was preaching to students, colleges, like that way. And Prabhupada used to appreciate a lot. Okay, you are doing a lot of students. I'm just sitting and eating. You are doing college preaching this. So Maharaj saying, okay, I got a little puffed up. And you are doing good kirtan. So Maharaj was doing some good kirtan and everything. Maharaj was in a Prabhupada's room actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Prabhupada read his heart actually. And he was talking good kirtan. Some devotee will tell Maharaj, Maharaj, you does good kirtan. Prabhupada slightly ignored. He didn't listen to what they are telling. And one small new bhakta was cleaning Prabhupada's rooms. Prabhupada called him. He came on his head, his hand, he massage. And he said, you are doing nice job. You are cleaning my room like that way. Then Hridayanand Goswami asked Prabhupada later, what happened, Prabhupada? You ignored me and is that small bhakta? Prabhupada started laughing. Then he suddenly, Maharaj realized, oh, it was, I puffed up. He said, Prabhupada, I was sorry that I puffed up and you smashed my pride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Super. Jai. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare
Srimad
Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitana pavane. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Manjari.